Welcome to the Creative Plan Podcast Network. Join us as we share our favorite RPGs, one-shot games, tabletop games, reviews of items, and convention panels, and other exciting things that we run into from time to time. Sit back and enjoy the show.
Hi, this is Kellie, aka Trixie from Ragnarok and Roll, a Sign to Ragnarok story, and Tilda Wimblewick from D&D Journey of the 5th Edition. First off, I would just like to say thank you to everyone for listening to our varied adventures, as well as for rating us on iTunes and rpgpodcast.com. If you haven't rated us yet, we would greatly appreciate it if you could. And if you're looking for more ways to support our efforts, we are now on Patreon, a great site where you can help us continue making more podcasts, as well as some special surprises for our patrons. If you can, please look us up at www.patreon.com/cppn. Every little bit helps. And again, thank you for listening.
Let's take a moment to introduce ourselves to this gentleman who's clearly never met any of us before. Would you care to start?
Yes, my name is Kellie Springer, aka Temperance Honore Everett, from my steampunk persona, and I have been cosplaying actively for 10 years. Really been cosplaying probably my whole life without, realizing it.
So my name is Madame Askew of the famed Where's My Ankles and What Happened to My Tea. Also,
hardest working cosplayer of these panels.
Thank you. I have been doing costuming, sewing costumes for the last 20 plus years. I've been dressing up in some fashion since I can remember. My first personal costume that I ever made for myself was made out of brown paper grocery bags in which I cosplayed a cat. So that's my history.
Yeah. I'm Jared Pike, or Mr. Pike from the Peculiar Pikes, and my wife and I, we've been cosplaying for right about 8 years.
Together.
That we've got into it. So.
And I'm Christin Pike of the Peculiar Pikes and also of Mental Health Superheroes.
Yay.
And Halloween has always been a very, very big thing for my family. So I've been cosplaying pretty much all my life. We've also got little baby C with us, so if he gets fussy, I'll take him out
And
of the room.
And Baby C is also cosplaying today.
He looks fabulous.
This is his second convention.
He's looking fantastic. I'm very happy to have a young, fresh cosplayer with us.
Exactly.
Yes, and he's been cosplaying all his life. I think.
Exactly.
He
He
has.
has.
Yeah.
Ever since we've had him, yep.
Yeah, no, he's a very keen cosplayer. So, when I was writing this panel and inviting everyone to join me for the conversation, I was thinking about some of the other themes we've touched on this weekend with, polishing spoons as spoonies and people who have to overcome various challenges, and also as artists and creative people, the way we utilize a variety of tools to make our art come to life. And something I thought about in that context, and also something I've heard from other people in regards to cosplay, is that it really empowers them to do things in life outside of the convention space as well as in the convention space. It just sort of is an empowering influence. And so that's the conversation I was hoping we could have today. Some of the ways that, costuming has helped you pursue other strengths, and also some of the things it may have empowered you to do in our geeky spaces. So Temperance, would you like to discuss maybe something that's been really positive for you from cosplaying? Oh, hello! Welcome to
Come join.
By the Power of Cosplay.
I am painfully shy, for the most part. Growing up, I never really had to make friends, because as an identical twin, I always had my own best friend. But later on, we realized we have a problem. We have a problem talking to people. So we kind of tried to make an effort to do that. And when I started to really cosplay, it was so much easier for me to break out of my shell, because I still had a shell.
Yeah.
I could talk to other people and I could share information with them because the costume it gave me a sense of, okay, it's not necessarily me. I can be somebody else for a little while, but I can still go back to being me. So it allowed me to break out of my own normal shell to embrace other things. And when I made something and people are like, wow, that's really cool. How did you do that? I am happy to tell you how I made it. I don't believe in hoarding knowledge. Nope, sorry, it's my secret. I'm taking it to the grave. No, I'm like, let me tell you how. You can do this. If I can do this, you can do this. And that further introduced other ways of communication for me. It's like, I enjoy workshops. I enjoy doing workshops, putting on workshops with friends and people, because now it helped me find a voice. So, and that was through the power of cosplay,
Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. For me, it started with my wife saying, hey, let's go to this convention at an Old West town in Tucson, Arizona. And I was like, Old West town, that sounds interesting. Oh, John Wayne used to do movies here. Oh, this is cool. Oh, but then there's this other side of things too. And oh, this is pretty sweet. This is nice. And slowly getting into Wild West Con at that point, and and then becoming a part of the community, and then being asked to help with the community and doing things more behind the scenes. And that's always what I've enjoyed doing, is helping other people and doing things behind the scenes. And now being a presenter, which is unusual for me because I don't enjoy public speaking, and small crowds is fine, but big crowds I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm just gonna sit back and let you guys talk and and not worry about it. But being able to help someone along the path, just as I was helped, is what it's about, is building that community.
I think also that infertility is a big part of our story. Mm-hmm. And the times where we were becoming more involved in the cosplay and the steampunk community was, as we were going through the journey of, I can't put all of my mental energy on things I don't have control over, or things that are not working well, or the things that I lack, but I can invest my time and energy and creative endeavors in creating a costume or going along on the zany project. And so that has been a very good, healthy outlet through some very sad and difficult times.
So I really appreciate that you share that kind of personal journey that you've had and how it helped you navigate the emotional and mental difficulties. For me, cosplay, especially in the last 6-7 years, has been not only an opportunity to increase my circle of my tribe, my found family, my very dearest friends, but it helped me through one of the roughest periods of my life. 6 years ago, my husband decided he didn't want to be my husband anymore, and I became separated. I was personally devastated by that. I would not have made it through that experience if it had not been for my costuming community and being able to throw myself into something creative and positive, to sort of channel my OCD, focusing on the the intricacies of a project to take my anxiety and sort of drive it into like a sort of submission by keeping myself engaged with creative projects was very helpful. And it also helped me manage the kind of attendant depression that went along with really devastating change in my life. So I was grateful to have that cosplay experience. It also reminded me of my being as an individual and not part of a relationship. I had been very focused on being a married lady, and so reconnecting with myself through making art and costuming was very helpful to like absolutely, not even metaphorically, empower myself to be a human and not just part of something else. So it's great in that front. Yeah, I don't talk about that a lot. It's very personal. So I might not have mentioned it if you hadn't been really vulnerable. Thank you for taking us there.
Thank you. Yeah. I also think I've got another experience about that, you know, that using that creativity or using that as an outlet. My brother died by suicide 5 years ago. And obviously that was a really traumatic experience for my family. And one of the things from that day we were committed to is taking something that was just so terrible and traumatic and take ashes and turn them into beauty, or turn them into something that would come around and make the world a better place, you know, to be kind of grand about it, but to benefit our community and the people that are hurting together. So one of the things we did that Halloween actually was work with one of his friends and build a grouped costume, because it was that time when Guardians of the Galaxy coming out, and looking at it, that was not a good costume. That was not, it was not screen accurate by any means, but it was something that we came together with somebody else as a couple, learning that we are not great at working on the same tasks together, but when we divide and conquer, we're excellent. So that was a learning experience there, but also coming and being together and making something with someone else who is also grieving. Again, that was very empowering and reconnecting with the world in a way that would be very easy just to tunnel down and do it by ourselves.
I think that's one of the nice things Temperance and I have frequently. It's actually one of the biggest treasures of my life, is that Temperance comes over 3 days a week and we work together on projects in the afternoon. Sometimes we're working like parallel on different projects at the same time, and we're like, ooh, what are you doing there? Oh, you're pleating 100 feet. How fun for you. Sounds really good. Oh, you're obsessively piping. Great. Seems good. And we chit chat and we bounce things off. And so even though we're not necessarily working on the same project, for me, it's just that having Temperance there, sharing the creativity, it's sort of one of those mathematical functions. It's not additive, it's multiplicative. And so it's much greater than the pieces that we're putting into it. And also, we had this conversation a little bit yesterday. The internal voices can be terrible liars.
Yes.
And so when I'm struggling with stress or anxiety or my laundry list, I'm over 40, it's a very long list, having Temperance as a reality there, or any friend, any part of my creative community, really helps me go, all right, so if it's not perfect, that's all right. Doesn't have to be screen accurate. Steampunk, so that doesn't really have a
grounding agent.
Right, it grounds me in reality, and also sort of propels me to keep going when I want to give up on doing the art. And having a project, finishing a thing, putting art into the world reminds me that I have value as a human being. And so that's also very helpful in terms of like empowering myself and keeping the sorts of dark parts at bay. So.
And it's nice because we all have things we don't like to do, but have to get done. And working in a partnership, you can say, you know what, I can't do this right now. And you know what, let me step in. Let me help you with that. It's like, or like there are certain tasks, like she doesn't like surging that much.
No.
I love it. I do. I'm like, I get into this zen. I'm like, okay. All right. I'm like, you know, it's like, oh yes, okay. Blade. You know, I'm like, okay, try not to shave it off. I make a game out of it. It's like, okay, see how much, you know.
No, it's true. She will search everything.
I will totally search everything. And I have a herniated disc in my back with thoracic, so it's very rare. So it's like she'll like, you know what? Let me cut that for you. I'm like, oh God, thank you.
Yeah. So I do most of the cutting.
You know, and we'll switch out with ironing. Nobody likes to iron.
I've met one person.
They're crazy.
I mean,
I heard of a class. Some YouTuber was talking about, it was like the zen of ironing, and so she was talking about how one of her New Year's resolutions was to be more committed to pressing and in her costuming, and so that was very inspiring to me. It was like, yes, I could see where that could be a very therapeutic thing because you're working slowly and you're working carefully. And then I think about my life where I have a little tiny infant who wails unless he's being held. And it's like, I'm not in that stage where I can be invested in my pressing right now.
No, perhaps the zen and the art of ironing is not
that's not
thing.
what I can connect with right now.
Yeah.
If I have a workspace that's tall enough, then I will iron everything.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, fantastic.
I will press my jeans.
So, 6'6".
Yeah.
This is a bit of a tangent, but we're going to go there because honestly,
because we can.
Honestly, I have not had tea this morning, and I don't even know how I'm upright.
Yeah.
But I'm 5'3". Temperance is 5'5".
I'm 5 foot even.
You're 5 foot even. Getting an appropriately like the height of a workspace is so hard. Like I don't think the workspaces are made the right height for any one of the four of us on this panel.
Right.
So I use table risers to lift tables to be tall enough for me.
And
I'm
it's still
5'3".
not tall enough for me.
Right.
Which is why it hurts.
Right. So that's what I mean.
And
it's very hard.
It is. I built a desk for. Hi. Yes. I built a desk. Sorry, baby C was smiling at me, and I needed to smile back.
He's so sweet.
He's adorable.
And I built her a desk. Built Christin a desk, and it's the right height for me to stand at. But of course, at 5 foot, she needs a bar stool in order to sit at it. And it's just, and so it's like, okay, if I could just do everything off of there, then it's fine. But it's also something that you want to keep nice and not damage or, you know, so
that we're going there. In some costume shops, they actually take a big piece of plywood and they wrap it in batting and then they cover it in cotton and they make a large pressing space.
Oh.
Yes.
So, unto you I say,
yeah,
Jared, this is not a hard project, a staple gun, some
batting
and some cotton. You can have a board that you can lie down on top of that desk, protects the desk. You don't want to press on hardwood anyway. You want to press
you want
on
it nice and soft.
You want that soft, but also it reflects the heat back into your garment. We went on a long tangent. Thank you for bearing with me. I am passionate about pressing, despite not really liking to do it.
Yeah.
I too am not zen about it.
It's very important, especially for pleating.
So, but that I will wrap this into the conversation because I can. This actually hits on something that I think is empowering that you both do, that I see Temperance do, helping each other, sharing tips, building community. I feel like there is something really powerful about being able to take something I've learned or any of us have learned and share it with another person.
Yeah.
When I was having a terrible struggle and no shame to my ex-husband, he's a perfectly lovely man, It was not like an acrimonious divorce. I was just brokenhearted. But it had been a hard end of the marriage. I had not been happy for years. And so coming out of that very sad place and being able to help people and to share something I was good at, it reminded me that I wasn't a bad person or a failure because I'd failed at marriage. And so being able to say to my friend Jared, I have a way that you could like iron at a height that works for you. Just, it lifts me up. It makes me feel good. And I hope that I'm able to help my friend as well. So is there a thing from participating in costuming that you've been able to sort of utilize in that way that reminds you that you're a good person, reminds you that you do good works?
I think for us, we bridge a very interesting gap in our communities where we are very religious and we're also very, very costuming and very into the convention life. And so, like today, we went to church first in costume and taught the little kids singing and then came straight here. And so that, that can seem like two very different worlds, but for us it's very important to bridge the gap between, introducing something where, our congregation can be kind of tight-laced and to be, okay, this is an outlet that we have and have the youth respect us, have different families respect us and say they do something different and they're wonderful and they're valuable members. And then also to come into other communities that can be a little bit more liberal and to say, well, also the Pikes, they might have these religious beliefs, but also they're very welcoming and accommodating and helpful, and to be very solidly in both of those and be very welcome in both of those as well. I think that's an interesting gap that we see and have fun living between.
For me, it is the outreach and the community relationships the cosplayers tend to have. They are very supportive of each other, even if it's not their fandom. They respect it, and they're always always willing to help. Like we were talking in the earlier panel about costume, horrors and stuff that happened. Like the TusCon Comic-Con has this wonderful long hallway with all these fandoms and stuff, and there is no doubt in my mind if one of us were to go, oh, something happened, I need help, every one of those fandoms would offer assistance to that other fandom.
We sewed on a Tony Stark snap in the steampunk booth this year.
We helped Sailor
Tony Stark.
Yeah, no, Sailor Uranus.
Oh, was it Sailor Uranus and not
stopped
Sailor?
by.
Okay, I thought it was Sailor Iron Man.
Then she came to the
okay.
I want to see that now.
compliment panel. But it's like, ladies, do you have a needle and thread? Yes, we do. Come right in, let us help you. Any other fandom would do the same if they have no, but we've got a safety pin you're more than welcome to, or hey, even if it's just Darth Vader blocking the door for us while we're changing clothes in the green room. We had the Darth Vader himself standing guard for us and not letting anybody into that room. That was awesome.
It's true. He did. He guarded the door.
He did.
That's the thing that in coming from different communities in life and looking at them, I've never found, honestly, never found a more helpful community than the costuming community. Mm-hmm. Because everybody wants to see you grow. Everybody wants to help you find those pieces to build your gap or help you with whatever it is you need. Your shoe blows out. I mean, I've seen it. Your shoe just completely blew out. Yeah, I guess duct tape. Let's fix that right now.
Right.
Let's throw something else on there. Let's get this taken care of so that you can get back to your hotel room and and put some new shoes on or something, you know,
I think
or
that's one of the very,
whatever
very
it is.
beautiful things, particularly about costuming, is we always make the joke at Comic-Con, like, oh, look, there's all the Spider-Mans, there's all the Deadpools, there's so many, and I don't know, he keeps chewing on his fingers and gagging himself. Anyway, but he's learning. He's learning.
That's
just
like
like
that's
we're
how he
learning.
learns.
And sometimes you have to learn through sad experience. But no, like, you know, we can see in these big events, there might be duplicates, or there might be lots of people with the same costume at different levels of skill. So there's room for that. It's not like there can only be one Spider-Man, or there can only be one person,
Or one Princess Leia.
or one Princess Leia. No, and you know, in some ways it doesn't particularly matter if you've got a store-bought costume or you've got one that was hand-stitched and embroidered for months and months and months, because we're all here playing together, and like you said, wanting to see each other grow and develop new skills.
So one of the things, we have this friend, Sam, from Thermo Cosplay, that Temperance and I met a couple of years ago at TusCon Comic-Con. She's an amazing costumer, and we were doing this thing together called Iron Tailor, one of my favourite things.
I love that and want to do it again, because it's so fun!
Okay, we're going to do it again. So Sam was like, you know, it's called cosplay, not cost serious. That's right. We're here to have fun. So I have occasionally met people who get into a sort of weird space, and I think maybe my personal take is to try and come from a space of compassion and remember it's about the individual and not about me. And so I'm like, well, whatever's going on with them, they've decided that they're holding this very high standard, and the only costumes they're interested in are these very intricate homemade ones. And that's great. I mean, I like to make intricate homemade costumes. That's my jam. But I don't expect other people to do it.
How many yards of pleating was your last project?
100 feet of piping and a lot of feet of pleating. I lost track a bit. I've written down. So I like that, but I don't expect that from other people. It's not what I'm looking for. And so I think it's about whether people are having fun and achieving their goals. So for me, I get a lot of personal satisfaction of doing these really elaborate things. And every costume, I like challenging myself to do something new or to tackle something new. So next year's challenge is alterations and fixing things and saving costumes that I thought were not working right. So that's next year's challenge, right? That's personal challenge, not setting it for other people. So when I go to a convention, I get such a huge surge of joy from seeing other people achieve what they were going for. If I see like a little kid show up who's like, I'm a princess, steampunk, Darth Vader, unicorn, I'm like, yes, you are. I'm here for it. It just makes me feel so hopeful and excited about the world. So often the stories, the prevalent stories about the things that are going wrong, which is not to say things aren't going wrong, but it's nice to go to a place where we're focused on building a community, sharing, supporting each other, and it just fills me with hope, which I can take out into the world and kind of propels me through the difficult things, which I really appreciate.
Yeah. And when I'm having a difficult time where, like, you know what, it's really hard for me to get the spoons to go to an event or something just because, but sometimes when I'm there and then you see somebody who's just having such a good time, or that you're like, you are awesome. And like, because it's like, and they're like, oh my God, I made this myself. Or, you know, even if it's just like, and the joy that they get. I mean, one year, this is at Wild Wild West Con. I don't know if you guys remember the when they had the Land versus Sea.
Yes.
I had made a whole bunch of like arm garters, but in the land, because I had fabric that was in their colors and stuff. So I had made a bunch of arm garters for, because I wasn't doing the full-blown costumes. I was only making small pieces at that time because this
Now
was
you're on the
early
dark
into my
road.
forays of Victoriana. And so I had like some little bustle, detachable bustles and stuff that I had done. And I made them for land because I had the red, white, and blue but I had made a bunch of little arm garters out of the extra fabric, because I had the elastic, I had the fabric, and I made a bunch. And when I was going around and then somebody would be like, what's going on or something, and they're like, this is so cool, and I'm like, here, have an armband. They're like, what? I can have this? And they would get so excited because, here's this, I just like, you made this. It's like your costume. That's okay, you take it. And they're like, oh my God, this is amazing. And the joy that they were experiencing, I was able to experience as well. And it made not only their con experience that much better, but it made my con experience that much better. So
one thing that I think is particularly beautiful about creative and costuming is that sometimes you don't have that built-in support network. You don't have your sewing buddy, or you don't have a spouse, or you don't have somebody's on the same page with you about creating things. And so if that's something that's important to you, that's fulfilling to you, you can put that time in, and then coming to an event where other people are on that same page is very, it fills up your cup.
it's rewarding.
And whether or not you have that on a daily basis, you can have that on small event levels.
It is very validating to have that community waiting, I think. The reality of making art of any kind is there are periods where you are you alone with your art, even if you have a partner at home or a friend who comes over. I always have that 10 p.m. I'm working at the sewing machine. It's me, my cats, music because I don't sew in a quiet place, and it's suddenly very lonely. I'm an extrovert too, which I know shocks no one, but I do less well with fewer people. I do better when I'm seeing people more regularly, but I still have that long dark tea time at night. And so thinking about my friends in the costuming community, thinking about what I will come to the event and see, and reminding myself that, well, I'm not the only one who's working alone at 10 p.m. or 2 a.m. or night before. I'm not alone. Sometimes I'll get a text from someone else, are you still working on your pleats? Because I just broke a needle and I want to give up on life. I'm like, no, don't give up. It's just a needle. We can do it. We can get through. 4 a.m. is close, and then we can sleep. It's great to have that community to this, even when you're isolated.
Kellie will be up.
Kellie
gets up.
Kellie's getting up in 30 minutes. I'll just text her.
Yeah.
Kellie,
okay.
making
I would be
terrible
happy to bring
choices.
that over. Or it's like, no, we got this.
So it's good to have that. Because as you say, sometimes you don't have the person, the partner, the friend, the sewing buddy that you can always draw on at home, but you have that person. Yes.
Okay. There was a couple of thoughts that I had. One
Share
was
them
when
all.
We were talking about dark and sad things driving you to do wonderful creative things. Carrie Fisher has a beautiful quote.
Space Mama,
Yes,
yes!
Space Mom.
Take your broken heart and make it into art. And so it's like, I just wanted to personally give a shout out to the TusCon and TusCon costuming community and cosplay community, because the very first time I came to this con, I had only cosplayed once as a character from Shauna McGuire's Mira Grant's Newsflesh trilogy. And I still had this lab coat that I'd paid way too much money for, and I wanted to do Osgood, but my shirt wasn't right, my bow tie wasn't right, but I brought it with me because I thought, I don't know. And I went to this panel, and Vicky was on it, and someone else was on it, and I don't remember her name, but she was cosplaying cosplaying one of like Brian Kesslinger's tea girls, and there was this great panel where they talked about unless you're entering a contest, you don't have to be screen accurate. You can do whatever you want. It's called cosplay for a reason. You want to do your version of a thing, you should do it. And I was like, hell yeah, I'm going to be Osgood tomorrow.
Awesome.
And I was, and it was great.
I remember you giving you a whole costume contest ribbon or badge for that. It was how we met. Your Osgood is how we met. And we're friends now. And so I'm really glad you played Osgood. First of all, I love Osgood. I was like, yes, there's an Osgood. Have a button. And that was it. Like, you know.
Yeah.
Is that I saw I cosplayed
I
one?
think that
Because I
was-
remember the lab coat.
Yeah,
I
think it
do.
was
I
that
remember
one.
the lab
And
coat.
So, like, I think I still have that ribbon pinned on the lab coat because why not?
Yeah.
And I have asthma, and so that day someone asked if I was Bill Nye, and I took out my inhaler, and they went, "Oh my god!" And then a couple different people said, "Wow, I really admire your commitment to this costume. This is fully functional. I have asthma," and they're like, "Oh," and so it's like I can have a lot of.
You were
issues
so
with-
committed to that costume. You gave yourself asthma. Respect.
I worked really hard.
Oh my
I
god.
take a lot of issues with Stephen Moffat's tenure of Doctor Who, but he gave me an asthmatic fangirl.
Yes. So good.
And it's just made me, because my exposure to cosplay were our friends that do like these amazing things where they'll take like one base thing and then they'll do all these molding and casting and sewing and things, and it's great and it's beautiful and they look like they're characters, but it's like I don't look like you. I have a completely different shape than you. And I was always really, I got that mindset of body type in my head. But after doing Osgood here, then I feel better about trying other things. And so I've done like casual Carol Danvers with my bootleg 9 Inch Nails shirt and my shield hat that came from somewhere in China. And so it's like, yeah, it's just fun. It is empowering because you realize that you don't have to know how to sew. You can just be good at putting pieces together.
Mm-hmm.
If you follow, here's a plug, Mental Health Superheroes on Instagram and Facebook, in the month of October, this lovely lady here does a character every single day, and it's closet cosplay. It is pieces from our home. Sometimes we do go out and buy things,
I
but
can get stock in Goodwill, man.
yes, please, that and other places. But every day she does a character, and there might be days that she's up till 3 o'clock in the morning, hot gluing space patterns onto a skirt so that she can be Miss
Frizzle.
Miss Frizzle, and do whatever it is, and it's not screen accurate, and it's not. Sometimes it's casual. I mean, she was a glow cloud, She did the, so it's different. It's just different things, and that's exactly what it is. It's play. It's enjoyment. And when we lose sight of that, then we lose sight of why we started doing it and what made us happy and what builds us up from it. And I had a really hard time on Thursday and Friday justifying being here. And I'm glad I came. I'm 18 credits deep in a semester right now, and just trying to just hold that together. I have 5 weeks of school left, and I'm like, but being here has been so refreshing and just helped me add more spoons to my drawer, and being able to see other people and let you know it's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. If I stood up right now my shirt, would rise up and it would be in the back. And it's not perfect yet because I haven't talked to this one about, helping me out. But it is what it is. It still looks good, and it makes me feel good. I match my wife, and baby C here, starting to match us also, and so it's fun, and that's what it is. That's what we're here to do.
Fun for me. It's kind of helped me be a little more creative.
Yeah.
Like I do Gish.
Yes.
Wow, very nice.
And so, like, when we got the list this year, there was an item, like a Sunday on a Sunday. Crowley and Aziraphale go to have an ice cream sundae.
Oh, yeah.
And I immediately went, I want to do this. Who wants to do this with me? Because I've got my old graduation robe because I'm a pack rat. And let's find you some. And my friend's like, oh, okay, I'll do Aziraphale. I'm like, all right, let's find you something. And then I dug around, and again, pack rat. My mom at some point had made me like a Middle Ages-esque outfit, and I had this long, white, shapeless, just chemise. And so I had driven out to Casa Grande and did some insane things, and then on the way back, we met at McAlpine's up in Phoenix, which is like this really like awesome, like old-fashioned sort of parlor. And I'm like, all right, Alice, which one do you want? The old graduation robe or the old chemise?
I love that.
And then her teenage son was our photographer, and he was like, wow, where did you get that graduation robe? And I'm like, it's mine. And I was sitting there thinking, I dare you to ask me how old it is.
Don't do it.
But that's what I've kind of gotten out of it. It's kind of made me, I feel like it's made me think a little more creatively sometimes. If I have this thing, and what can I do with it? So that's my 2 cents.
And actually,
that.
it's becoming a bit of its own art form for
absolutely.
the closet cosplay for like things, because like specifically for like say Disney theme parks, adults are not allowed to dress in costume.
Right.
They're not. So people make it's a joy. They get to, I'm going to craft an outfit, a standard regular street outfit that evokes the character I want to portray. I love it. I think it's fabulous.
I had a friend do a baby shower, I think it was, or a bridal shower, and the theme was Disney founding.
Yeah.
So I showed up and
Like it now.
I think I had like jeans and a blue shirt, a blue t-shirt, a white overshirt, some little flats, and I had a book, and I just walked in and went, oh, Belle!
So good. Well, we didn't get to do it. We were going to do a panel on bounding.
We'll have to reschedule.
We're going to do it.
We'll do
next
it
year.
eventually. One of the things, because I do, at this point, I've done over 30, because I've done over 90, because I can't do just the one per day. I have to do a couple versions,
Right.
So I've done costumes every single day of October, plus all the costumes I've done in my life. And there are some times where it looks like the character, or it's very accurate. I go out and scene, and I have these really awesome pictures, and like I'm really playing and having that fun. And then there's other days, because my focus with this project is not necessarily the costume. That's a big part. It's a fun part. It's a vehicle for what I'm trying to do. But through my nonprofit, Mental Health Superheroes, my purpose is to be spreading positive mental health messages. And the costume and the cosplay is a vehicle to do that. So, to spread that, those messages. And there are some times where my costume is just kind of what it is. Or if my husband's gone at school and I have to take a selfie, or I have to get someone else, and it's not quite the end product that I want. We had a trunk or treat that we went to recently, and the costume that day, again, in my head, I'm having to think creatively about how am I going to get this picture done? What is my message going to be? And I went as E.T. and Elliot. And I had a little carrier for him, and I put him in. I had a little laundry basket, had a little thing over him. And if you knew what I was going for, then it's like, oh, I recognize it. But so many different people were like, oh, your laundry. Oh, it's so scary. It's laundry. And it's like, that is not what I was going for. And if I was in this mindset of like, well, I was going for E.T. and Elliot, then you didn't get it, I just failed, then that would have destroyed my fun and creativity. So the thing I had to be like, well, I'm either the most terrifying costume here, laundry, or I'm what I intended to be. Either one of those things is okay because I'm here to have fun. And that is a mindset that I had to kind of develop. And I'm glad I did because it was a fun event.
So I know we're just about at time. We have 1 minute. I would like to also encourage you all to follow Christin. Christin is one of my cosplay superheroes. And, oh gosh, I'm going to have my con tears. I've known Christin and Jared roughly since we started cosplaying.
Yeah.
And they are two of the kindest, most welcoming people. They exemplify the ideals I have for costuming. Our differences far away. We're friends. You're always welcoming and supportive. I get the same from Temperance. I'm so grateful to our costuming community. I'm very happy that you could come and join us at TusCon this weekend.
And that costuming brought us together.
Yes. So thank you all for being here, for joining us. Thank you, Tanya, for your wonderful shares, and for being Osgood so I can make your friendship. Oh, thanks. Thank you. These turned out nice.
Thank you for listening to the Creative Play and Podcast Network. And feel free to enjoy our other shows, such as D&D Journey of the 5th Edition, and Scion Ragnarok and Roll, a Scion hero to Ragnarok story. Thank you for listening.
Hi guys! If you're a fan of reading like I am, and you've been looking to try out audible.com for audiobooks, we have a link for a free 30-day trial. So go ahead and check out audibletrial.com/Creative Play and Podcast Network. That's Audible, AUDIBLETRIAL.com/Creative Play and Podcast Network. Thanks!